Good morning, everyone. It is February 16th, 2018. I'm Eric. I'm here at Zero Hedge, and the article is "The Genius of Trump's Food Stamp Proposal. You're Not Supposed to Like Being on Welfare." And it was authored by Dan Calabrese, or Breeze. And he says, if I was on food stamps, I wouldn't like this either. I think that's the point. Let's just go over some of these numbers here. I don't need to read the whole article to go in the direction that I'm about to go. But I will read a couple of excerpts. The author says, if you can't afford to buy your own food and you need the government to provide it for you, then you can get it on the government's terms. And that's usually what happens when someone else is supplying your needs. And of course they say if you don't like it, take every available action to get off of food stamps. My family has never received them. We never will. And we do just fine. And we are in the poverty level, but we don't go hungry. So this is called the America's Harvest Box Proposal. And it's going to affect those households receiving $90 per month or more in benefits. They will instead receive a package of nutritious, 100% U.S. grown and produced food. And that's approximately 16.4 million households, or 81% of SNAP households would be impacted. The Department of Agriculture estimates that the change would save taxpayers $129 billion over 10 years by switching to defined packages that would presumably have a predictable, consistent cost. Okay, $129 billion over 10 years. Now, I'm not pro food stamp or welfare in any way. I've said it before that it is a lot like living in, say, Colorado or Alaska or any number of places with a lot of wildlife. The warnings that you get, the signs saying don't feed the animals because they'll become dependent. Well, it is my opinion that that's exactly what happens to humans that are on this assistance for any length of time. That said, $129 billion over 10 years. That's what we'd be saving in this change. But we give that and much more in military assistance to Israel alone. You want to save taxpayers some real money, you eliminate the foreign relationships that we have, the relationships where other countries are dependent on our country, like Israel. Saudi Arabia, they get sweet billions and billions of dollar deals too. And by the way, one of those breaking ties with those two countries would save a lot more than $129 billion over 10 years. It would save that much in just 1 year, and then some. And this author says, I'm sure part of the idea here is that people can't trade or sell their food stamps or find some clever way to use them to get booze, cigarettes, drugs, and so on. Well, it's funny he should say that, because they did a pilot program, I guess you could call it, where they actually drug tested a lot of these welfare recipients. And the damnedest thing happened. A lot of them, most of them, were clean. And he's right. The point of food stamps is not to treat you to gourmet meals. It's to prevent you from starving to death. And while you get yourself out of the trouble you've gotten yourself in. Well, a lot of people don't really get themselves into trouble. Trouble happens without any help. I know, because it happens to me constantly. I don't go looking for it, it just finds me. And they say you're not supposed to like dependence on the government. You're supposed to want to get off it as quickly as you can. I agree with that. And here's where I'm going with this. We already have a lot of racial problems in this country. We have one side who thinks that the other side is totally out to get them, and has been for forever. And that same side is openly talking about wanting to kill and use violence on the other side. Then you have the other side, and some of them think that the other side is out to get them, and so on. With this proposal, I would argue that it's going to contribute massively to racial tensions. Black people like to say that there are more white people on welfare than black people, and that's true, there are. But what about per capita? I don't ever hear any of them say anything about per capita, but this per capita idea is used for police shootings. And one commenter California girl made a good point. A proposal like this is difficult to do, considering all of the people's allergies, medical restrictions, and so on. For example, my body is allergic to soy, canola, garlic, cilantro, Roundup, BT, and many other chemicals, which are highly prevalent in most foods found on the average grocery store shelf. So, I mean, it is a good thing on one hand, because people really, our country and the people in it really have enjoyed a long stretch of government handouts and dependence. And the only way for any of them to become educated and employed or self-employed is to throw them to the wolves and make them fend for themselves. This is why I never would accept food stamps, because I don't want the free handouts. I don't want the weakness that it would bring. And it does. It makes you weak. It makes you dependent. But that's exactly where they want you, weak and dependent. But starvation can bring a whole new level of weakness all on its own. So we'll see where this goes. I hope everyone has a good day. Remember, kill the state and live free.